Good day, everybody, and welcome back to Barra. We're on live weather here, although we've set the time to about 11 a.m. It is a nice day. We get the clouds out, a few clouds, a little bit of wind, but it should be good. Today we're leaving Barra. It's a beach departure, and we're going to be heading over to the Isle of Tiree, and then on to Islay, where we're going to hold up for this leg. So we're flying the Beach 18, and across from us we can see Kevin. That's supposed to be a DC-3. We're having issues with model matching and getting the right aircraft up. But let's hop on board and get ourselves fired up and ready to go. It's not the button I wanted, that's the button I wanted. There's the back of the aircraft. We'll work our way up to the cockpit, and we can get the aircraft ready to go. So we'll just open the window there. So we'll come down, we're going to turn the generators on and the batteries on. We'll also turn the masters on for both engines. We'll put the beacon light on. Make sure the fuel tanks are set to the main tanks for both. That's good. Parking brake is set. And we should be good to go. I don't think anybody else is flying along with us today. But it is time to fire up the engine. So, we'll open up the cover there. First thing we're going to do is start up the left engine. So we're going to put the mixture all the way forward. We will turn the primer over to the left engine. Give it 5 shots of prime or so. We'll lock the primer. And then turn the selector switch to the left engine. Our nav lights are on steady, pitot heater is off, and again beacon is on. So it'll prop fully forward, crack the throttle 1/4 inch, and we'll crank the left engine. There she goes. Bring the engine up to about 1,000 RPM and let it sit there for warming up. It's right about there. And we get ready to do the same on the other engine. So, primer over to the right side. Mixture going fully rich on the right engine. 5 or so pumps on the primer. We'll lock the primer in the center. We'll switch the starter over to the right side. Propeller fully forward. Crack the throttle. And we'll start the engine. And there she goes. And we'll bring that one up to 1,000 RPM as well. So with both engines idling and warming up, we'll turn the avionics and lights on. And since it is gloomy out there, I am going to crank the lights up just to help us see the instrumentation a little bit better. And while the engines are warming up, I'm going to put our course as a guide into the GPS. Set the radio to 122.8 as well. That's some Unicom frequency. Not that we need it. Just force a habit more than anything. There we go. Fire that over. This is the new startup here. That's all good. Hit OK. There's our self-tests and everything are working fine. Acquiring the satellites now. Engine temperatures are starting to come up. Hey, no laser 1243. Hello, welcome to the stream. GPSs, you can see the satellites are all being acquired, and it should in a second kick over to the map. There we go. We are kicked over. So we're going to put in our route for today, and as I mentioned, we do have a stop in the middle. So we are currently at Echo Golf Papa Romeo. Barra. So we'll enter that in. We're going to make a stop at Echo Golf. Let me just pull up the list. We're going to make a stop at Tiree Island, which is Echo Golf Papa Uniform. So go Papa in uniform. Tiree. And our final destination is going to be Echo Golf Papa India, which is the island of Isla. Again, another great one of the Scotch making islands. And we'll hit enter there. So there's our route. We're going to make a full stop landing. We'll taxi back and then take off again and head out from there. So that is all set. We can come over and take a look at the route. We're going to head down to the island there and then down to Isla down here. So we're continuing on the we're going from the Outer Hebrides to the Inner Hebrides. So just put that in there. And it looks like our temperatures are coming up nicely. So engine mode start selector, our engine start selector can go over. We can cover that down. We got our seatbelt sign on. Now the beacon light is on. We don't need dome lights or anything. Turn our nav lights over to flashing. Now if we look outside at the windsock, you can see it's blowing in that direction. So we're going to be taking off this way. We're kind of sitting up at the end of runway 15 here. This is the way we came in when we landed here over the hills here and landed. We're going to basically swing around, point in that direction, and take off that way as well and get ourselves up and ready to go. So just going through everything, making sure we are all set up. That is all good. Just get our DI set up. And we're going to head off on basically a heading of 140. So I'll get the I'll get my heading bug over to 140. I'm going to be doing a lot of over the water flying. I think initially we'll just carry on down the little island chain here and see where that takes us before we head over to Tiree. So that's set. Our GPS is on heading mode and we'll be all good there. Just a few clicks here, make sure that's all clear and ready to go. Alright, I'm up and running. Kevin, I think you're up and ready to go as well. Oops, stuck behind the seat there. So what I'm going to do is brakes are on, parking brake released. I'm just going to kick my tail around here so we're facing the correct way. There we go, something like that. Set the brakes. Now this is going to be a little bit of a shorter takeoff run, so we're going to want to put the flaps in. I'm going to set my trim to half. There we go. We're going to go with one setting of flaps. Props are forward, mixers forward. We'll get the lights extended. Flashing pitot heat is on. And I think we are kind of ready to go. Yeah, it is. It allows you to swing around, but you can quickly go too far over. Alright, so power coming up. It's brake released. Dancing. forgot to lock the tail wheel. That caused part of that. But anyway, we are up and going. Minimal issues. We're going to go up to 2,000 feet. What I'm going to do is turn on the autopilot and heading. This is the Northern Europe server for the multiplayer. Allows channel members and others to join in and fly along with us. Turn off the landing lights. I'm going to bring the power back, or the props back slightly. I'm just going to keep climbing out here. Hold our pitch. We'll get the gear up. You can see some other players off in the distance. We'll carry on down the islands here just to see what they are. Again, we're not hard following the route. This is a sightseeing trip after all. View out the window. If you go into, I think it's under the general settings traffic, there's a option for nameplates. Make sure you've got that turned on and they'll come up. You can also toggle a switch, which I've done, so I can go in and turn them off if I want to get rid of them, or you can have them on. Oops, there's 2,000 feet, so let's get our nose down here. $2,500 is good enough. We'll lock it, say 2,400. I'm going to bring the power back now to about 27 inches and 1,900 RPM. And we'll lean the fuel flow down to about 20 gallons an hour. Nicely extend our range and limit our fuel burn. So I've got 5 hours of fuel on board. And there we go. There's the Southern Islands. As mentioned, we're on the Outer Hebrides here. This is an outer bank of islands. This is the final little bits of it at the south end. And the Inner Hebrides stretch over there, and then on the other side of those you have the mainland. Other thing I'm going to do is come in and close the cowl flaps. We don't need them out at the moment. I'll allow the engine temperatures to stabilize. Oop, got to have the flaps out as well. So there we go. We're all set up for the cruise now. Chugging along. And there's Kevin in behind us. Again, should be a DC-3, but unfortunately, the model matching did not quite work out. So as you can see, we're flying the Beach 18 in the classic Loganair livery. Loganair, of course, did fly into Barra, or does fly into Barra, still does today. They use Twin Otters. Again, first time in few for the tour. We're running live weather. This time of year is generally pretty miserable up in Scotland. Oh, we got a little bit of a rainbow happening. Not sure if it's coming up on the screen, but there it is right there. A few flyers out over the mainland, a couple more down towards England. So at Isla, the winds are reported to be out of the north, 040 at 5 knots. So we'll take it out of the north, slightly eastwards at Tiree. So we're going to turn towards Tiree. Tiree has a couple runways. We're going to land on 05. It's almost 5,000 feet long. So we're going to basically come in on an extended base, turn to final, and land. And then after Kevin's down, we'll backtrack and then take off again from there. Alright, so I think we've done pretty good. We're passing through the edge of some very fine clouds. There's the bottom of the islands. So we've made it to the southern tip of the Outer Hebrides. So we're going to make a left turn now. And we're going to head towards Tiree. I think that's the island right there, kind of on the horizon. Head off in this direction. So this is a Coronado aircraft. Coronado aircrafts are gorgeous to look at. Systems are sometimes a little bit lacking. Flight model as well. She's a bit of a handful trying to get her off the ground on takeoff, as you saw. But looks nice, and it is a fun little airplane to fly. Landing's pretty good with it. Airport elevation is 38 feet, so we'll use 1,000 feet as our final approach altitude. Okay, we'll see you there. We're not that far away. Although we have a few minutes of flying to go. So this is going to be the last live stream for a couple weeks. As I've mentioned in the past, I have to head overseas for some family matters. But we will be back on December 24th for our Christmas stream. We'll be flying from Manchester to, I never pronounce it right, Rovaniemi in Finland, the Christmas village there. It's about a 3-hour flight. We'll be flying the 737-800, all decked out in our Christmas finery. So that'll be a couple weeks from now. Well, 2 weeks and a few days. Hope you'll join us. We'll have the Christmas menu open, which it is now, if you want to order something, which I think I will do. And it is going to have Christmas movies and some other little Christmas things going on. So lots of things to get in the spirit right before Christmas Day itself. Chat window not coming up. me see where my chat window is. Oh, no, there it is. For some reason it got delayed. There's not laser. Oh, he's flying a DC-3 as well. Okay. Well, it'll be interesting to see what he shows up with me. We did a little test right before I went live on the stream, and when I loaded in the DC-3, that's the Airplane Heaven one with the 40th anniversary edition, it worked fine. I could see Kevin, but when I loaded back into Beach 18, I couldn't. So there's something weird going on there. Not 100% sure exactly. Alright, well, since we're out over the water, I think what we're going to do is start heading down to 1,000 feet. So I'm going to pitch down slightly. I'm going to pull the power back to 24 inches so we don't accelerate too much. And we're going to descend down a little bit. About 500 feet per minute should do it. Message, yeah. Wants me to set a course to intercept. Oh, we're doing fine. Looks like we got a little bit of shipping in here. I left the window open as well. I'm all kerfuffled. Spending the last couple days getting ready to head out, so my mind's a little distracted. There's some shipping out here in the waters. It's an interesting airplane. If you haven't heard, there's two files that come when you download it from the marketplace. There's the basic and enhanced versions. It is recommended that you disable the enhanced one, delete it out of there, just use the basic one, and then the flight model is 100% improved. And I can attest to that, and so can Kevin. If you haven't done it, you can fly it now and see what it feels like, and then do that. It is a much better one. And if you want to join us in January when we finish this tour of Scotland, and we've only got a couple legs to go, so towards the end of January, I'm starting a tour of England, and we'll be flying the DC-3s in England. So if you want to come along for that, it'll be on Wednesdays at the same time as this live stream. And we'll be flying all over England in DC-3s, so that'll be fun as well. Should be rather interesting. So 400 feet to go. And again, we'll be landing on a runway 05, which is 50 degrees. DC-6 is a nose wheel, and we all know we've flown that. I think I did a check on Volanta. I think we got 86 hours in the Pan Am livery that we used for the round the world trip. Alright, so there's 1,000 feet coming up. We'll kind of slow our descent slightly. And we'll capture 1,000 feet. Bring that power back up again to 27 inches. Now, you'll be able to see lots of England on this one. We're going to be crisscrossing back and forth. So there's the island over there. That's where we're headed. As I said, we're kind of doing a long base, and then we're going to turn in. Watching where we got to make our turn. I mean, once we deleted that enhanced file or collection of files or whatever that is. It did become much nicer to fly. I did take it up and do some circuits around Toronto Pearson with it. And it was a much nicer airplane, that's for sure. So I'm looking forward to doing some VOR navigation in it. Alright, so we're going to turn to a heading of 070. Get ourselves ready to come in. So landing lights are going on. Everybody's told to sit down and prepare for landing in the back. See the airport over there. Let's see if I can. Nah, actually, I think it's down. Is it down there? Yeah, I think it's over there. Kind of in this bay, at the top of this bay, so it's somewhere over here. Just going to turn a little bit more, maybe get pushed by the wind a bit. So we're coming in. So speed's 130 knots. Yeah, once I get a better handle on it, I'll probably make a little instructional video to help people with it, but I've got to do a bunch of flying in it to get her up and down and get used to everything in it. Alright, so we're not doing too bad. We're 8 miles out. Not quite making it at the airport yet. It's somewhere up here. Going to be a slight little bit of a left-hand turn as we come in. I can start making it out here. So yeah, so we're going to turn this way, and then we'll come in. There's the airport over there. So I'm going to start bringing the power back, start slowing us down. Propeller's going fully forward, mixture's fully forward. Speed's coming back. Reducing power. Alright, autopilot is disconnected. I know, I know. And there we go, we're at the white arc. First notch of flaps coming in. Let that speed start coming back. There's the runway. So we're going to make our turn. That's the power. .80 knots is our landing speed. Alright, so we're going to start coming back to trim for 80 knots. Next notch of flaps. Gear down. Let speed start coming back. 80 knots. And we're at full landing flaps. Keep it around 80. A little bit of a side slip or a crab going on. We're not side slipping yet. There's the runway in sight. About 500 foot per minute descent at the moment. We'll try to wheel land this on. Not seeing any lights or anything. Not seeing any on the charts either. Coming around a little bit as we come down. We're 500 feet to go. Slight crosswind. Feet, a little bit of power. Power controls pitch. Up. Slightly high. Not doing too bad. So we've got the knot laser sitting at the end of the runway there. Speed, bring the power up. All right. Rudder over, wing down to keep it. Power off. Oop, there's a touch, bounced. Once it's down, get the tail down. Fully back. It's wandering. There's the brakes. We went off slightly. That's okay. Give Kevin a little bit of room at the back there. Let's disengage that tail wheel. Swing around. Get the flaps up. A little bit of right engine, and then the brake. Now we'll taxi down to the far end. See the wind there? It's fairly strong. It's pushing us. Hey, good to see you, Wayne. I miss you and your Spitfire. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest. This thing is hard to keep down on the ground. How you doing? Haven't seen or heard from you in a while. Alright, let's get down to the end here. We'll swing around. Get ready to head out again as we head down to Islay. Use the whole runway for this, so we'll go down here and then spin around. No, it's never too early. Get the parking brake on, and we'll wait for Kevin to get down here along with Not Laser. Wayne, you got to join us on the 24th if you can, if the grandkids aren't around. We're doing our Christmas flight on the 24th of December this year. We're going to open up the cowl flaps since we are sitting on the ground here. Get the air flowing through the engine. So once we take off from here, I'm going to do a left turn. We'll swing around the island and then head off towards Islay. Here come these guys here. We'll get the engines up a little bit to start warming up. So Not Laser, to put you in a generic aircraft, what are you flying? I mean, I've got PMPG 737, I got the Phoenix A320, I got the fly-by-wire A320. Be interesting to know what it is you're actually in, and I'm not model matching to for some reason, or the sim isn't model matching to. It's never me. Well, you're going to be nice and quick to catch us up again. So we're going to go up to 2,000 feet. This time we are going to make sure that the tail wheel is locked. Fuel set, engine set. We're all set there. Lights are on. Pitot heat is on. Seatbelt beacons are good. Props are fully forward. Mixer's fully forward. You're flying a CJ4, really? I don't know. This sim sometimes. Alright, so brakes are set. Parking brakes are off. Here we go. Actually, before I go, where's my trim set? Trim set is fine. I'll leave the flaps up for this one. See how we do. Got full right rudder right now. Oh, there we go. Yeah, she's all over the place. Wind isn't helping. Wow. That wind did turn into a hell of a crosswind in the last couple minutes. Alright. So come up on the flaps, bring the power up, as we climb out. Power at 2700 RPM to, or 27 inches, RPMs to 1900. And we're going to climb out to 1000. I gotta love the jets when they go by. So we'll get our heading locked in. Autopilot on, heading, pitch. We're gonna head upwards slightly. And we're going up for 2,000 feet. And again, as we climb out, we're going to get a nice look at the island here. We'll swing around to the north side, loop over top of the airfield, and then head off to our next island. There's 2,000 feet coming up. So we'll roll down the pitch trim a little bit. Altitude hold. Go. Get those cowl flaps closed. Landing lights off. And there we go. We'll make the turn here along the northern coast of the island. We'll do an overflight of the airfield as we head off. And we will do a test and see how she follows the GPS. So we're coming in online, so I'm going to turn this to nav. So let me pull the mixtures back. I'm going to turn that to nav, and then we're going to go, we're in nav mode now. So it should turn to follow the GPS. We'll bring the mixture down to 20. See how she does following a GPS route. She should come back in and then line up again on the intercepted radio. Maybe not. Maybe we got to go to heading for that, but we're in nav mode, so it's going to follow the nav. See. No. All right, so we'll go to heading. See if we can do an intercept a little bit better. going to do it now that we were south of the airport and on the actual nav line. Let's see if it picks it up. Still learning the airplane. So we're at 2,000 feet, so I'm going to bring the power back to 27 and the props back to 1800. There we go. Alright, so there's a slight turn. Looks like it's turning on, and it wanted this at, I think it said 160, so if we turn this to 160. Yeah, not bad. It's locking in now. Alright, so it's coming up for 12 noon. There's our high noon this far north. Sun down low to the horizon. Yeah. Well, you're the one who keeps taking these big airplanes on these small airplane tours. On the English tour, I had to edit some of the ones that they had in there. They were like, DC-3 would not go in there. They were really, really small airfields. But I think I got a good selection, and we'll be going back and forth. And some of the later legs are going to be two-leg stops. Hey, Brian. Good to see you. Emergency landing. Emergency is you need a better plane. No, CJ4 is not bad. Are you using the working title mod? That makes it a lot better. How's things for you, Brian, midweek? Well, we're following the course. Everything is looking good. So, Islay Airport has... Not too fast, yeah. Yeah, true. So the winds have gone calm, so we're going to land on runway 31. That'll give us a left-hand downwind as we come by the airport. And a few clouds at 2300, scattered at 4200. Temperature altimeter is 1019. Should set that. 10. Can't see it here. 1019. What is that? What does that equate to? It equates to that 3010. We're not bad. We're cruising at about 150. Yeah, you were saying extremely cold. I did say the tour was for twins. That's right, Kevin. Yeah, was it minus 20s you were saying? Wow. Actually, I was looking at the weather in England where I'm headed tomorrow, and the weather's about the same as it is here in Toronto, so it's not too bad. Down around, a couple degrees in the day and 0 to a couple degrees minus. And there's even one day in a week or so they're saying there's a chance of a light dusting of snow, so who knows? We'll see. Nothing unusual for me. Alright, so we're following the course here. And everything is set. We got 40 miles to go. And we have 155 knot ground speed, so a slight wind as we cruise along. Yeah, it's something like that. Some more islands of the Inner Hebrides off to our left here. That's Tobermory's on there, so I'm not sure what island that is. Let's pull up a better map. Take a look. All right, what do we got? See where we are. So that's the Isle of Mull, and obviously you have the famous Paul McCartney song, Mull Kintyre. I believe that's referring to stuff on this island. Over here, oh, we have a ship. But over here, this island that's coming up on the horizon here is not sure what the island's name is. It's getting a whole bunch of Colonsay, Kilketchen, Garvard. I think those are town names. More of the outer islands, and then we come down to the island of Islay. Home of Balmore. Balmore is a very nice but expensive Scotch. It's a little, it's not a ship. A little island with a lighthouse on it. I do love me a nice Balmore. Balamory? I don't think it's Balamory. Okay, not laser. See that sun coming down there. So I got about 30 miles to go, 12 minutes. As I said, we're going to veer off slightly once we start crossing over the island, and that will set us up on a left-hand pattern into the airport. There is a VOR here of 109.95. So let's dial it in. We'll come over here to our nav, 109.95 nav radio. Click that. Waiting for needles to start pointing directions. Nav 1. Should be able to hear it. As we get closer. Should come up in this one. Let's dial our OBS around to 160. Should be heading directly towards it. Haven't tried an ILS approach in this thing. It does do it, because if you look here at the autopilot, control, localizer norm, localizer reverse course, so it will do it. We have the ILS needle. Not sure if you have to hand fly the glide slope or if you can do your regular thing. There's an out laser. There's Cessna 152. Still got a slight tailwind pushing us. Well, the current MEDAR is saying that the winds are calm. 25 miles to go. Yeah, probably. I do remember when I was doing my night rating here in Canada, which is a separate thing from your main license. We were flying over Kitchener-Waterloo Airport, and just for fun, because we had to get some time on the instruments, we were shooting approaches in the Cessna 172, all manual, glide slope, and all that stuff as well. I wasn't doing my IFR, but we just did it to burn time on the rating and get a little bit of experience. So it's always good to be able to do things like that, so you get a little bit of knowledge. Airport elevation at Island, 56 feet. So again, we'll go for a 1,000 foot approach. This time with the winds gone calm, I'll do a 3-point. I'm surprised we're not picking up the VOR. What type of VOR is it? Ranger Power Terminal. I'm not sure what that means. It's located on the eastern edge of the field. Anyway, here's the island coming up. It's we're going to be kind of coming over this little promontory here. This carries on down, then there's a bay. You can see the bay, and then there's some other bits on the other side. We're actually going to fly down over here, and then we're going to be crossing over the bay where the town of Balmore is, and then past that's where the airport's going to be. So I think for some visuals, I'll bring the power back to 2400, or 24 inches. We'll head downwards to 1,000 feet. Try to get that 500 feet again. Avoidance turns. Well, we did it as part of the regular training. Every time we were in the training area when we were going to do something, it was constantly avoidance turn this, avoidance turn that. Okay, we're going to practice this. Do your avoidance turn 90 degrees this way, 90 degrees. Oh, yeah. It was constant. I think the worst flying I had, although I enjoyed it, was doing instrument training with the goggles on and just flying by instruments, and then getting bounced around in some pretty good winds and ground mechanical or ground turbulence, and fighting the aircraft the entire way. Did a really good job with it, and he said, he was willing to let me stop, but I said, no, let's keep going. So I managed to thump my way through that lesson. And then, of course, after that, I went up with somebody I know, an airline pilot I know, and we went up in a Citabria and we did spins and stuff, which was a lot of fun. Something you don't do on your pilot. It's all spin avoidance, but we actually went into the spins and that. And I've done aerobatic flying in other aircraft since then. Alright, so we're coming up to the island. We're coming up to 1,000 feet. I felt it slightly the first time I did aerobatics. I was in a Harvard. I did rolls and loops and wing overs and stuff like that. And at the end of the hour of that, I kind of felt it slightly. But that was really the first and only time I ever felt that. even the museum flying when we're doing air shows where we're yanking and banking and going 90-degree turns and flipping 180 degrees over the other way and pulling G's and everything. Never had a problem after that, so I was fairly decent with flying and getting bumped around and stuff like that. Alright, go back to 27 inches, just keep our speed up as we come over the island here. Rather barren, a few trees. We're heading into winter now, so the trees are looking pretty dead. So we're going to fly down alongside this little inlet. We're going to cross over this one. We're going to fly right by the town of Balmore, which will be slightly on our left. I think that's it there. And down the coast slightly to the airport. I think at this point, I'm going to go in and take over using the heading mode. I'm going to go to heading mode, the autopilot into heading mode. And there we go. Thought about it for a second. We're going to open up some distance from the airport. We're only 9 miles, 10 miles out. So it'll give us a little bit of space to do our base and then final. Once again, we're going to be landing on runway 31. And the winds are still... Well, they've come around slightly, but it's fine. They're only 4 knots. Unless the sim's going to act up again and give us these high winds. There's Balmore. The Balmore Distillery will be here. Islay is also the name of the scotch that comes from this coastal region. It was 150, yeah. I did all my training in 172s. I just don't fit in a 150. Beautiful area here. Beautiful day to be flying here in Western Scotland. And the airport's going to be down over in that direction. So we're basically going to fly across to the other side of the bay here and then come along the coast and up and in. A little bit of a wind pushing us, which is fine. Here's the town. Shoulder to shoulder flying, I know. One of the biplanes I flew with the museum, that people used to laugh when I would get in it. It was tight. I was pushing out on the edges of the combing for the cockpit with my shoulders. But I flew it, and it did well. Nimble little airplane. There's the airport. There's a small little 2,000-foot runway, and then there's the big one that runs kind of parallel to the water, although it's take a look. There it is there. So we're going to go around, and we'll come back in, and then land this way. Again, the winds are pretty calm, and only a couple knots, so it shouldn't be a big issue. Okay, Not Laser, thanks for coming along. We'll see you in the new year when we do the tour of England. Normally we'd want to be doing a downwind leg parallel to the heading, but in this case we're just going to do this to extend out our base leg. Alright, so we can start slowing up. So mixture's going to go fully forward on both engines. Propeller is fully forward on both engines. That's going to start slowing us down. Mainly because the props go flatter and it creates more drag. I'm going to bring the power back to 25 inches. So we're not running the RPMs too high. Put that speed back. We'll come back to 21 inches now. There's the shore. I'm going to turn eastwards. A little bit low to the ground, but that's okay. Oh, let's see, we got a beaver over there. Fly out over the town of Port Ellen here. Oh, there's Lagavulin. That's another very peaty scotch is made there. And Ardbeg, yeah, these are all the Islay distilleries. Very cool. I get bumped around a little bit. We're gonna kind of head out towards Lagavulin, and then we'll make our turn inbound for landing. Lagavulin looks like it is located over here. Now we're going to come back in across the way. That should line us up nicely. And we want to be heading, I'm just going to use this, it's 303 is the runway heading. So I'm just going to turn this to 303. That's going to be our runway heading when we get there. So there's Port Ellen. We're flying over now. And there's the airport over there. There's the runway that we're going to be landing on. There's Kevin coming in behind. And we're coming up for Lagavulin. Speed's down to 120 knots. Our initial turn of 330 degrees. Get us around the loop here. Beautiful fall colorage. And there we go. So we're 5 miles out from the airport. Airport's in sight. So tail wheel is locked. Cowl flaps are closed. Power mixture's fully forward. Props fully forward. Landing lights are on. Crew have been notified for landing. On manual, so power is coming back. elevation at the moment. Let the speed bleed. There's first notch of flaps. Run, looks like 3 reds, 1 white. Second notch of flaps, gear down. $80 knots is our landing speed. Our approach speed, I think we're going to try to touch down at 70. So control this a little bit better this time. We're going to have a slight right-hand crosswind. Shouldn't be too bad. Let's trim, get that speed coming back. There we go. 1 white, 3 reds. A little bit low, we'll add some power. Propeller aircrafts. Power controls your pitch. There we go. Coming back in. We do want to drag it slightly. A little bit of a crab going. There's that light crosswind from the right. Good, we'll just let her slow. Stall speed, kick her straight, a little bit of wing down for the wind, and the wind's catching it. There we go. Welcome to Islay. And once again, all over the place. Get her braked. We're going to release the tail wheel so that we can do this and get her off the runway. There's no real taxiway down, so we're going to go via the grass. Oh, there goes Kevin past me. All right, we'll get the flaps up. Make sure aren't giving it that extra lift. Now that Kevin has gone by, we'll go back onto the runway. Then we'll taxi down via runway 08. Over to the terminal. And this is where we'll be wrapping up today's leg of the Tour of Scotland. All the taxiways that used to be here have been closed, and they've cut down the length of this runway as well. You can see it used to go a lot further, but they've shortened it up. It's only 2,000 feet, that's why I didn't want to come in on that one. I'd rather have the 5,000 foot main. Going to head over for the main apron in the terminal building. On the left would be where the Cessna 172s and stuff would go, but we're a little bit bigger than that. So we're going to head down to the main apron over here. Make a right turn instead of a left turn. Alright, now that we're here, landing lights will come off. We'll open the cowl flaps. Make sure the engines don't cook themselves. Swing the tail around. We'll put it over here in this corner. Something like that. Alright, parking brake is set. We're going to bring the engines now up to 1,000 RPM. Run them there for 60 seconds or so to help cool the engines down, prevent shock cooling, and pulls the oil out of the sumps, make sure everything is nicely lubricated. Turn off the lights and avionics. So the nav lights will go steady, pitot heat can come off, that's off, landing lights are off and retracted. There's Kevin coming in now, looking good in his DC-30 key. Alright, so engine, or the right engine mixture off, and throttle off. Left engine mixture cut off, throttle closed. Beacon light will go off. Seatbelt signs off. We'll turn the masters off, and the electronic batteries and generators are off, and everything else is off as well. Well, thank you for joining us on the flight. The next one of these should be on the 28th of December, so 3 weeks from now. We will be back in the air. This is my last flight for a couple weeks. We will be back in the air on the 24th of December for our Christmas flight, as we've seen in the chat. Manchester to Rovaniemi in Finland, the Christmas village. Of course, we'll be back on our world tour on the 26th of December as well, and heading on from there. Thank you all very much for joining us. If you want to do more with the flights or even join in, you can come to our Discord. Link will be in the descriptions on both the YouTube and the Twitch videos. I'm also throwing it up in the YouTube chat as well. You're more than welcome to join us. Wednesday nights are multiplayer kind of tours like this in older aircraft. And Mondays, Fridays, and some Saturdays will be the jets and doing different things around the world. We have a world tour going on Mondays, and on Fridays we are touring around North America in 737s. So hope you can join us again, and over the next couple weeks there'll be a few videos released to keep the channel alive and going. But other than that, we'll see you on the next live stream, 24 December, 1300 hours at Manchester. We'll see you then. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.